Hey guys, sorry if you can hear the fan. That's my bad, that's on me. Anyways, today I'm going to be breaking down UFC 319 Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. Obviously, I'm just going to do the main event first because that's what everyone's here for. No one really cares about the prelims. No one really cares about any fight on the main card. Well, a couple, but really, come on. Dricus versus Khamzat is it. And listen, everyone's saying Dricus by Looney Tunes, Dricus by Falling Anvil. Dricus is going to walk in the cage after Khamzat beats up clone Dricus and say, I'm glad I'm not that guy. Everyone's making the memes about it and everything. But let's get into it. So is this really that hard to pick? Obviously it is. Dricus, insanely tough, somehow just wins every time, even though he looks horrible every fight, obviously. Except the Sean Strickland fight, because Sean Strickland sucks. But, he's fighting Khamzat, and I want to pick Dricus. I want Dricus to win because he'll be an active champion, and he'll be way more entertaining, just overall. But Khamzat is probably the most entertaining grappler, and that's, in my opinion, that's true. But Dricus he'll be more active because Khamzat never fights. He only fights once a year, if sometimes not even once a year. Dricus fights at least twice a year, or tries to. He's a striker who shoots takedowns, or he's, MMA. He's very well-rounded. And Khamzat does have good striking and insane grappling, but his cardio is shit. So it's give and take, I guess. And listen, I want to pick Dricus. I want to say Dricus is so tough, man. Because here's the thing. Everyone knows Khamzat can get anyone down. That's not the problem. The problem is surviving the first round with Khamzat. And people forget about Dricus versus Derek Brunson. People forget about Dricus versus Darren Till. And I know they both fought Whitaker, and I know that Dricus knocked him out in the second round, and he said the reason he knocked him out in the second round was because Izzy said he did some type of voodoo. Israel Adesanya said that he himself did some type of voodoo so that Dricus was going to knock out Whitaker in the first round, and then Dricus goes, well, I'll do it in the second round then. And then he knocked him out in the second round, which is very good. But Khamzat just took him down and broke his jaw with a neck crank, or with an attempted rear naked choke, and he broke his jaw, and Whitaker tapped. But here's the thing. Dricus fought... Look at Dricus' past couple fights. Dricus beat, obviously, Whitaker, Adesanya, and Strickland twice. I think Khamzat destroys Strickland in one round, in under 3 minutes. I think Khamzat takes down Izzy and submits him no problem. And obviously he did that to Whitaker. So I'm going to have to go with Khamzat. I want Dricus to win. It's one of those things. I know Khamzat's going to win. And pull the Joe Rogan people forget, man, how good Dricus is. But I don't know, man. I think one of the only reasons why we're saying Dricus is so good is because he is the champion. And everyone doubts him every time. And I would never pick against Dricus in any fight other than him versus Khamzat or Nasruddin Imavov, because I just think that's a really tricky matchup for him. But yeah, I'm going to go with Khamzat Chimaev because I think he can get Dricus out of there in the first round. Obviously, if it goes into the second round, Dricus is winning the fight, and everyone knows that as soon as the first round ends, if Dricus is not choked out or knocked out, he's winning the second. He's winning the rest of the fight, and he's probably finishing Chimaev at late round 2. Early round 3 into the later rounds is when he's probably going to finish Khamzat if he survives the first round, but I just don't think he's going to survive the first round. And obviously I can look like a retard making this pick, but that's what I'm going to go with anyways. Moving down. Aaron Pico versus Lerone Murphy. Listen, guys, I promise I'm hardcore. I looked into Aaron Pico's record. Bro was fighting Bellator cans. I know he's young. He's definitely younger than Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy's literally a unk. He's like 34 or some shit like that. The UK's best prospect, other than Chris Duncan, obviously. But anyways, Aaron Pico was fighting like 12 and 10 opponents not that long ago. He's good. He's better than bottom feeders of the rankings, I'm sure, but I'm not picking him to beat Lerone Murphy. I hope he does. I do not like Lerone Murphy. He's boring. I just don't like him. But anyways, I'm gonna go with Lerone Murphy typical Earl Murphy fashion. Decision. Moving down, Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. Listen, people were talking about Carlos Prates was the next in the UFC, and obviously I didn't have this channel at the time. I thought Carlos Prates was getting fraud checked. I really did. I don't think Carlos Prates is that good. But I also don't think Jeff Neal's that good, so I'm going to go with Carlos Prates. And if he doesn't knock Jeff Neal out, I think he can beat him by decision because it'll be a 3-round. So I'm going to go Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates. Next up, Jared Cannonier versus Michael Venom Page. I'm going to go with MVP. Jared's just... It's hard to find MVP. And honestly, this could look... Nah, I'm going with Jared Cannonier. Cannonier. I don't think MVP is... He went to a close fight. Obviously, he won. But he still went to a pitter-patter decision with Sharaputin Magomedov, who I think if you're good, you'll just finish. Or you'll beat dominantly. So I'm going to go with Jared Cannonier. He could... Listen, if you pick MVP and Jared Cannonier wins, you could look like an idiot. And if you pick Jared Cannonier and MVP wins, you can also look like an idiot. But hopefully, I'm banking on Jared Cannonier shooting takedowns. Because if anyone grapples MVP, they win. It's just a fact. So I'm going to go with Jared Cannonier. Hopefully he's smart enough to just shoot takedowns. I really hope so. So I'm going to go with Jared Cannonier by like TKO, knockout, or decision. Either one of those. Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. Kai Asakura is pretty good. Tim Elliott, I mean, he's Tim Elliott. He has a tramp stamp on his stomach. So I can't pick him to win no matter what. But I'm kidding, obviously. Tim Elliott's look good in fights sometimes, but most of the time he doesn't. Decent grappler. Kai Asakura does have an insane weight cut. He fought at bantamweight in Ryzen. And I don't like that, but I don't think Tim Elliott has the pop in his shots on the feet to even touch. I'm just going to touch Kai Asakura. But I don't think he has enough power to do any damage whatsoever. So I'm going to go with Kai Asakura. Probably decision 29-28 or 30-27. He might knock him out in the first round. I don't know. Carlos Diego Ferreira versus Bobby Green. Oh, not even unks, bro. Just two old heads. I'm going to go with Diego Ferreira. He's probably on something, so I'll go with him. I can never pick Bobby Green to win a fight after all the damage he's taken. Even though Diego Ferreira isn't this insane striker, he's more obviously known for the grappling, I still think Bobby Green just... You can't be fighting as often as he is taking that amount of damage. So I'm going to go with Diego Ferreira. Honestly, I could see him subbing Bobby Green, or I could see him knocking him out or winning by decision. But I'm just going to pick him to win. Moving down, Gerald Meerschaert versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I like Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, and I really do like Gerald Meerschaert. I really want them to add him to the UFC game. But the UFC only adds prospects that have 3 fights in the UFC. Can Mikhail Oleksiejczuk knock him out in the first round? Because Mikhail doesn't have the best cardio. I'm going to go Gerald Meerschaert, hopefully by surviving and then getting a 3rd round rear naked choke or something like that. I could look very stupid for this pick. Mikhail might not just knock him out in the first round. I'm going to go with Meerschaert. It was just a Meerschaert, lad. Jessica Andrade versus Lupe Godinez. I'll go Lupe Godinez. Chase Du Bronx Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez. I'm never picking Alexander Hernandez to win a fight. Unless he fights an absolute can. Which Chase Hooper has been fighting. Old heads. But I think he can beat Hernandez. He definitely has better cardio than Hernandez. So I'm going to go with Chase Du Bronx Hooper. Next up, Jakar Close versus Edson Barboza. I can't pick Edson Barboza. He hasn't looked good in so many of his last fights. I'm going to go Jakar Close to knock him out. I honestly am. Alright. Brian Battle versus Nursultan Nazarbayev. Dude, why are these ones hard to pick? Brian Battle did lose to Randy Brown. But Randy Brown's not. He's pretty good. He's the best outside of the top 10, probably at welterweight. And Brian Battle's moving up to... Why are they fighting at middleweight? Nursultan Nazarbayev fought Buckley at welterweight, didn't he? I'll go Brian Battle. Just cause Nursultan Nazarbayev, he's decent, but he's not the best. Don't let the last name fool you. He's not that insane of a grappler, so I'll go with Brian Battle. Alright, last fight on the card. J.J. Aldrich versus Kareem Silva. I'll go Kareem Silva. Typical decision. Anyways, bye.